young Venezuelan people are the ones halting the Venezuelan migration, and it's gonna end suddenly the Venezuelan migration to the rest of the world. Today we discuss.
Welcome to Venezuela Insider, the only place in Venezuela for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, travelers, and related internationals. For more information, venezuelainsider.com.
Today I'm reviewing a video made by a very popular Venezuelan YouTuber named David Placer. His particular YouTube channel, he travels all over the world actually meeting Venezuelans that already migrated the country. On this particular video, he actually made a video in Venezuela and start asking a bunch of people, especially younger people, about their plans on the future if they decide to leave the country, and the results are quite interesting. I'll leave the link in the description below in order to check it yourself. So it has a bunch of things, and I'm going to read it one by one. The first one, according to a poll made by the UCAP, the Universidad Católica, one of the most important universities from Venezuela, says that 44% of young Venezuelans want to stay in the country no matter what. It's very interesting, almost half. Other thing is, one of the takes of this particular video is people, especially young people, that stay in the country or actually return from after migrating a couple of years to a nearby country, said that they learn from the experience of others, migrants, Venezuelan migrants abroad, that most countries in Latin America actually are not better than Venezuela. And doesn't say much about Venezuela, says a lot about the rest of Latin America. Of course, Latin America, a beautiful region of the world. However, is one of the worst regarding creating wealth from scratch due to lack of opportunities for the average population. That happens throughout Latin America. However, this is a funny thing. This is according one of the takes from the video, is that the developed nations, the United States and Canada and the European Union and so on, apparently they're not much better regarding wealth creation from scratch, being a migrant. So I have to put all of these particular clauses on this particular, take. And so they have a lot of difficulties making ends meet and creating wealth and prosperity on these particular countries, being a migrant. I have to mention that. Other thing that many of these young Venezuelans mention is that they actually want to be close to their family. In Venezuela, we have this culture, we have a bunch of friends, big families and so on, and like to be close to them and have our network of people and so on. I always mention that in Venezuela it's very important your network, and not just your business network, also your family, your friends, your circle, or like many European nations and North American nations, where usually people are on their own. Venezuela and Latin America, but especially in Venezuela, people like have a lot of ties, personal ties with their friends and family. Other interesting take is that some of these people, especially the young ones, are actually doing okay in the country, have opportunities, mostly online or a very particular sector. Let's say becoming influencers on their particular thing and so on, or they are musicians, stuff of that nature, or they work remotely. So they have enough capital, enough cash flow in order to make ends meet on their home country, where it's easier to do it abroad. And after that, enjoying with their families and so on. Maybe they're not going to become rich, they're not going to become millionaires, but they make ends meet so they can enjoy themselves on the country. Other thing that one of the takes, this is according to the video, the study, not my take, is that most people abroad, outside Venezuela, the quality is not that good. The human quality of the people, usually people that are very solipsistic and also very shut down, and they are not good people, usually are on their own. They are not polite, they are not nice, not fun people to hang out with, and they don't treat you well, especially on other Latin American nations like Chile and Peru. They treat very poorly the Venezuelan. And also on Europe, this is according, by the way, this is not my opinion, this is what I saw on the video, that usually in people on the European Union, like Germany, places like that, in France, they don't treat very well the international and the migrant, and they don't make good friends, anything like that. So, and they miss that, or the people who didn't left the country and live abroad, they get a lot of report, a lot of information from abroad that people in outside Venezuela, especially in Europe and the very xenophobic places in Latin America, like Peru and Chile, people are very cold and not good people to hang out with, according to the study, not my take. They don't want to live abroad. Other thing, and this is something I 100% agree, is that Venezuela is a pretty country, according to the study. And many people the people who are doing just okay in Venezuela, they have the opportunity to go to the beach and go to the mountains and the cities in Caracas, hang out in Caracas and Valencia and all of the cities that we have in Venezuela. So it's a beautiful country, a very cultural country, the local cuisine and so on. And they these people, the younger people, like to hang out in their own country, and they don't see as much of an upgrade going to, let's say, Europe or other places in Latin America. Other take is, according to, of course, young people on the study, that they see very hard abroad in order to work on their particular field, professional field. We discuss a lot that Venezuela has a very well-educated population, college educated, and many of them on STEM degrees. However, getting access to the job market abroad on these formal markets is very hard. Usually they have to work, as a waiter or as a gardener or something like that. And they don't have access to their career, their profession, to be, working on that particular field. And they don't like that, so they prefer to stay in Venezuela, maybe see if something can happen here. And of course, many of these people also mentions that there are a lot of hardships within Venezuela, and we have to take it in a grain of salt. And they love their country, but still they know there is a difficult country to grow and create prosperity. A very good take, one of the young Venezuelans on this particular video mentions that there is a lot of untapped potential in Venezuela, and I 100% agree with this one. And this is true because Venezuela is lagging compared to the rest of the world due to the crisis of the past decade. So business opportunities and economic opportunities and opportunities overall that have been successful in many countries abroad, and I've mentioned this a couple times, I always use the example of Uber. Uber is a household name abroad, and this particular business model has been successfully replied in Venezuela in the past couple of years, and this is slowly happening with another business models and different ideas overall. Also, according to the study and according to the opinion of these people, there is a sentiment of improvement and optimism regarding the country compared with what we had until 2017-2018. Also, I 100% agree. Of course, it's a long road to go. Still, however, I see a lot of opportunities and I see a lot of prosperity in, let's say, next decade. Also, this is mentioned on the video as well, is that compared to the young people that we had on 2014, 2015, they had a very negative outlook for Venezuela, including myself, actually, when I was young back then, is regarding, because the priorities for the young people of the past decade was political issues. Of course, we have a dreadful political situation, still have it. Also safety, that situation has corrected a lot, by the way, and I mentioned that on a previous video. But right now, the priorities for the young people right now is not political, is not they want democracy, anything like that. Is that they want economic opportunities. And at the moment, the situation was dreadful. 10 years ago, when the economic situation was dreadful, and actually that's what happened, 80% GDP collapse. But right now, we have seen economic growth and also economic opportunities. And not necessarily because the Venezuelan economy has grown, but also the new talent, the new young people right now have the opportunity, yet again, to work abroad, work from home, or basically perform their particular skills using platforms, online platforms, so they can earn a decent living within Venezuela and don't have to leave their friends and family and their home here on the country. Other take for the video is there is a more entrepreneurship on the country, more economic bubbles, and a particular person on the video mentions economic bubbles, but these bubbles are growing, so there are some pockets within the country, within the Venezuelan economy, that you can be relatively successful and yet, have a decent standard of living and maybe develop a business or a career. And lastly, this is a big one, is regarding racism and xenophobia all over the world. The country, the world right now is with a turmoil, with the war in Ukraine and also in the Middle East, and the political situation due to the poor economic conditions and status of living that we have on the United States compared to the past, and the European Union and G7 and so on. And so in Latin America, also a dreadful situation for the average citizen on the rest of Latin America. And we have a lot of racism and xenophobia. Because first, many people are racist and ignorant, of course. And the other thing, a lot of xenophobia because the less sophisticated, educated people abroad hate the foreigners, the internationals, the migrants, and they attack the migrant, especially the low-skilled migrant. That's happened a lot, not only with Venezuelan migrants, but actually Venezuelan tourists. There is a video, a very popular YouTuber in Venezuela got attacked on Chile, I believe, Santiago de Chile. Anyway, so right now, the information that we got from Venezuela, we got within Venezuela regarding other nations, especially other nations in Latin America, like Peru and Chile, is that the particular population over there hates Venezuelans, and Venezuelans don't want to go there because many think that Venezuela is just equally good that Peru and Chile. They prefer to stay on their country right now compared to 5 or 6 years ago where everyone flew to those countries. And Venezuelans don't like racism and xenophobia, and I'm jumping with the rest of my my fellow Venezuelans. We don't like racist people, we don't like xenophobia. Venezuela has never, if you want to visit the least racist nation in the world, probably it's Venezuela, and the least xenophobic nation is Venezuela. Venezuela actually had, decades ago, we received millions and millions of people from Europe and other parts of Latin America, and also Middle East and Asia, so on. Well, and we never had xenophobic issues. We received like 5 million Colombians and gave them opportunities and jobs and never mistreated. Of course, some props that a couple of Venezuelan idiots, of course, back in the day. But we always treat very well the international. And that's why it hurts us, especially a lot, us Venezuelans, racism and xenophobia, because we treat very well the international. And that's the funny thing that happened when Venezuela was rich, and right now when Venezuela is quote-unquote poor, we still, of course, we love internationals, we love people from all over the world, visit our country and make Venezuelan friends and so on. And that's why it hurts us extra that the rest of the world is very racist and xenophobic against us. And that has been the last take from the young people that don't want to leave Venezuela. The last thing, they don't like racist and xenophobic. So this is those are very controversial takes from the Venezuelan young people that don't want to leave Venezuela. They want to stay in their home country with friends and family and trying to make something happen here. So I kind of like the video. I like some takes. I agree with most of them. Some couple of there I don't 100% agree, but a very decent video that is great food for thought.
Thank you for watching Venezuela Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to work with us, venezuelainsider.com. Thanks again, and have a nice day.